breakfast this morning. We are so excited to have Michelle Kidwell of Chesapeake College Plan here today. She is an absolutely amazing resource for you as parents and for your students. So we will go ahead and I'm going to turn it over to you, Michelle, and let you get this party started.
Okay, thanks, Jess. So my name is Michelle Kidwell, and I am an educational consultant with Chesapeake College Plan. And we have an agreement with Calvert County Public Schools to assist students and families with college planning and financial aid planning. And I spend time in each high school every week. At Calvert High School, I'm there usually Tuesday afternoon and Wednesday morning. And at the end, I will present my contact information as well as my appointment link. If your student would like to have an appointment, they can go ahead and sign up on that link, and then we will find a good time to meet. So I'm just going to go over today the college admissions process in case you're not familiar with it, or if maybe it's been a while since you've done it. This just kind of gives you an overview of the entire process, what your student should be potentially doing now. And the more they can do now, the better, because it gets very, very busy in their senior year at the beginning of the senior year.
Hey, so Michelle, can I interrupt you for 1 second?
Sure.
I'm just realizing too, I totally forgot, if our attendees have any questions as we're going on today, if you guys just want to either unmute your mics and just kind of ask or raise your hands, that's fine. Or you can also use that chat function. The counselors will be monitoring the chat so we can shout out your questions. I apologize for interrupting you, Michelle. Just wanted to put that out there. I forgot to mention that.
No problem. Okay, so the first thing we want to talk about is how to find best fit colleges for your student. And there is going to be more than one best fit college. There's not just one be all end all college. There are close to 4,000 colleges in the country, and every college meets needs of many different students, and your student are going to find several best fit colleges for themselves, which is a good thing because then they have options. So when you and your student, because you probably are going to be helping your student with this, are researching colleges, you want to consider the first two things we consider for best fit are the academic fit and the social fit. So academically, you want to know what are your students' chances of being admitted, and will they be happy if they are there? So academics is not the only criteria that colleges are looking at in the application. However, it usually is the most weighted. So how do you know if your student aligns with a certain college and their expectations? Well, you can go to the college's website. Usually you can search for a freshman profile, or under the admissions tab, you're going to look and see, usually they publicize a range of a student's GPA and test scores that they admit in their classes. So generally your student wants to be like within that range to be competitive at that school for admission. If they are a little below that, it doesn't mean that they won't get in. It just means that it's going to be a little more competitive for them to get in. So certainly don't limit if they're not exactly within that range, but that is kind of a general guideline. Some colleges are test optional, and we're going to talk a little bit about that a little later on. So I'm not going to get too into it right here. So, and of course, you want to make sure that the college has the desired program that your student's interested in. If your student maybe is undecided on what they want to study, that's perfectly fine. Just make sure, usually a student has some idea of what they're interested in. Make sure that those things are available for them to choose from if they decide to go to that college. And then the other points on the academic criteria include what kind of academic culture is your student interested in. Certainly some students, they don't want to be at a college that's so challenging that they're stressed out all the time, because then they're not really thriving at that college. So things to consider include class size, research opportunities, if that's what they're interested in, accessibility to professors, as well as the support services that are available at that college. And every college has support services set in place. You can usually look on their websites if you search for student services and see what's available for them there. And then we talk about the social fit. And that's really up to your student. What does your student want? How big or how small of a school do they want? What kind of setting are they interested in? What kind of diversity are they looking for? Do they want a religious affiliation? How far from home is it? Do they want to participate in athletics? You know, Division I, Division II, club sports, intramurals. You know, or are they just want to attend events? Are there events there for them to attend? Is that what they enjoy instead of actually competing? What's going on? Okay, sorry about that. And then we do recommend that your students visit colleges, and we recommend that if they can, they visit while the students are on campus. It just gives them a really good feel of how comfortable they would feel if they were attending there. A lot of colleges in the spring and again in the fall will have open house events. You can register on their admissions page usually, and I do recommend those because they usually have an admissions presentation, and then they take the students and families on a guided tour, a student guided tour, and that does a couple things. It lets your students see the overall campus, and it kind of gives them a feel for what kind of student is thriving at that college, because when they choose those students who guide people around, they are carefully picking the students that represent the college well. And if you're not able to visit a campus, you are able to, there are many resources for virtual tours and information sessions, as well as at Calvert High School in the guidance office. They often have admissions representatives come to visit during the school day, and your student would just have to sign up to attend one of those sessions. And then the final two factors of fit that we recommend you consider are the financial fit and the return on investment. And these can kind of get a little sticky when you're talking to your students about it, because they might not understand the financial importance of some of this. But I would recommend that you talk to your students as soon as possible, have a conversation about what's reasonable for your family when it comes to college affordability. Just as a general guideline, we encourage students not to take on, and parents as well, not to take on unreasonable debt that's going to be a burden when their student graduates. The guideline for that would be to use your student's anticipated first year salary, divide that over the number of college and number of years of college, and try not to borrow more than that amount to be comfortable repaying that debt. So in other words, if your student graduates and you anticipate they'll make $60,000 their first year out of college, divide that by 4 years, and that's going to give you $15,000 a year as reasonable debt. However, that being said, we also recommend that for now, students do not rule out a college based on its cost, because the sticker price that colleges put out there is not necessarily the price that you're going to pay. And you don't actually know that bottom line. We call it the net cost or the out-of-pocket cost. You won't know that until your student receives their financial aid awards. So just to be safe, it's recommended to include at least one college that you can afford if your student does not receive any form of financial aid. And then you can have that on the list as you know, a backup college if they are not able to attend due to cost at one of their other first choices. And then again, college is an investment, and so be smart about the amount that your student is spending and the potential amount that they will earn. Did anybody have any questions about any of those best fit criteria? Okay. All right, then we'll continue on. So for now, your students should be doing a number of things, and I'm going to have a little list of things later in the presentation. But one of the really important things that they should be doing now is researching colleges. This is a series of college search websites that I recommend. They're vetted sources. The Big Future one, I kind of like that one because it is pretty easy to navigate. Your students probably already have a College Board account. And just by doing some of this research, your student gets entered into scholarship drawings on a monthly basis anytime they're working in that account. So these websites are really useful in kind of sorting through and filtering. You can put in criteria to filter out what students are looking for in a college. But I do encourage you to always double check on the college's website when it comes to the specific information, especially deadlines and things like that, because I have found mistakes on these. And then here are a few other resources. Again, if you're looking for colleges and exploring careers and learning about how to pay for college, I like that Big Future College Board website. And there's another one called Encourage Me. And both of these offer search options. You can filter things out. And they also offer scholarship opportunities. And then another website where students can build self-awareness and explore options and kind of try to create a plan for their career is Zello, which is actually, all the students know about this because I know the counselors talk to them about it. And Ms. Ponte, if you can just remind me how students log in there. I think they use their student ID and their birth date or something to log in.
They do, and actually a really easy way for them to get in is if they go to the Calvert County Public Schools website and click on the For Students tab. And then if they click on Zello from there and they're on their school laptop, it should just automatically allow them to log in because everything is linked to their school laptop.
Okay, perfect. Great, thanks. There's some
Ms.
really
Kidwell,
good.
Actually, we have a question. Do you mind if I interrupt you for a question?
Yeah,
So
sure.
the question in the chat was, when do students really know how many scholarships awards they have gotten?
Usually for high school students, it's usually in the spring, I would say, of their senior year, because a lot of the local scholarships aren't really open to students until the spring semester of their senior year. But however, that being said, there are lots of scholarships out there all the time, and you could kind of make a part-time job out of searching for scholarships. What I kind of like to recommend, which is what I did for my students when they were in high school, is to just kind of be the filter. Just go out there and look for scholarships and then present them to your kids. Say, hey, you know, here, I found this one. I think you'd be really competitive. Why don't you fill this one out? Because they could get really bogged down in looking for the scholarships, and you really kind of want them to get their attention focused on actually completing the scholarship application, not finding the scholarships. So that's a really good, important way that parents can help, or maybe if a grandparent wants to do that, to just kind of narrow those down. But yeah, to answer the question, usually in the spring of senior year is when most of the scholarships are awarded. Okay. All right, and then that last resource on here is a really, really good one, collegescorecard.ed.gov. It gives a whole bunch of information about outcomes, which is really important. Like, it gives information about, you know, based on your family's income, what is the average amount that you pay for a year of college, outcomes about retention rates and graduation rates, meeting earnings upon graduation, average debt upon graduation. So I really, really like to highlight that one because it has so much really good information. All right, so just to go over basically the components of a college application. Every application, of course, is going to have an application form. Generally, it's on the college's website. I haven't seen a paper application since I can't remember when. So, you know, pretty much your student goes to the website of the college they want to apply to, and there will be a link for them to go ahead and complete their application. Or they could also use the Common App, which is very popular and becoming more popular. And that's like a whole other story. But if your students need assistance with that, I'd be happy to meet with them and kind of show them that as well. But generally, you're going to have the application form, the high school transcript is required, the standardized test scores, letters of recommendation, essays, and student resume or activities record. Not every college requires those, but many do, and many of the more selective colleges do. And then there's also an application fee associated with most college applications. If those fees for the standardized tests and the application fee are a burden for your family, they should be eligible to obtain a fee waiver, and they would just need to see their counselor to do that. And then a little bit more about the test optional policies. Back during the pandemic, a lot of colleges turned test optional because students just weren't able to take the test. So a lot of them have remained test optional and will remain test optional for the upcoming admission cycle. So it's really important to check with every college about their testing policies. And it's usually checking on their website, basically. If you have questions about it, reach out to the admissions officers and they can help you with it. But a lot of colleges we're seeing now are starting to maybe swing the pendulum, swinging back the other way, where they are beginning to require test scores again. And as a general rule of thumb, if your students have taken the tests and they have scores that are indicative of their ability, excuse me. So generally, if they went in, they weren't ill, they had a good night's sleep, they ate a good breakfast, they did as well as they could do on the test, it's going to benefit students to submit their scores because it just gives the colleges another criteria to evaluate them on. So it's probably going to give them a little bit of an edge if they submit their test scores. However, they won't be penalized if they do not, because if the college has indicated it's test optional, they are not going to penalize your student for not submitting test scores. Any questions about this? I know sometimes this is like a sticky subject. So there's, if you just Google test optional policies, you can get a number of articles. I listed a few here. And I know that Ms. Ponte is going to post this presentation, so I'm not going to get into those. But if you are interested in finding out more about that, you can read there. And then also, like I said, reach out to the admissions officers if you have specific questions about your student. Excuse me.
Ms. Kidwell, we did have a question that I missed in the chat. It was from Ms. Pratt, and she said she wanted to know when her student should start applying. And Ms. Pratt, can you clarify, did you mean applying for scholarships or applying to college?
College.
To college, okay.
Okay, yeah, so that college applications for high school seniors usually open in the fall of their senior year. So the Common App opens on August 1st every year. And if your student has more than one college that they're applying to on the Common App, I would recommend they do that because it kind of gives them a little bit of relief and has everything in one place. But every college has their own date if they aren't on the Common App that they open up their application, but it's going to be next fall. So right now your student should just be doing their research to kind of figure out which college they want to apply to in the fall, but they won't be able to do that until the fall of their senior year, or basically August, kind of starting in August of their summer before senior year. And like we talked about earlier, college scholarships, you can search for them now, and your student can start applying now if they're open to juniors. Some are only open to seniors, but if you can find some that your student's eligible for, they can be doing that now. Okay, so this is a look at the top 12 things that colleges look for in high school students. And this is from a survey from the Independent Educational Consultants Association, which is a professional organization I belong to. And they did a survey of their consultants, And this is kind of the top 12 things that colleges are looking for in high school students. So the most important one, like we talked about earlier, is going to be their academic record. So your student wants to take a challenging high school curriculum. I know that, I don't know if it's already passed, but I know that now is the time where you're kind of picking classes for next year. So the recommendation is if your student's getting an A in an honors course, it's going to look really good if they sign up for an AP course in that subject next year, which is, you know, some students, they kind of want to take it easy senior year. You know, that's totally up to the parent and the student. However, colleges are going to notice what courses students are taking and what the grades are that they're getting in those courses. They are looking for a high GPA in major subjects. And back to what I was talking about, the AP courses, they would rather see your student get a B in an AP course than an A in an honors course. So it doesn't have to be all A's. It just needs to be that your students is challenging themselves and doing their best work. Again, SAT or ACT scores, if the college requires them. They are looking for students who have chosen and participate in meaningful activities, either inside or outside of school. A lot of times students think they need to be involved in everything, and that's what colleges are looking for. But really, if they have something they're very passionate about and have been participating in for a number of years, that's kind of what colleges like to see, that they are, I can't think of the right word, but like dedicated to whatever activity they've undertaken. Well-written essays that provide insight into their personality, leadership in the activities in which they're involved, demographic and personal characteristics that contribute to a diverse student body. And that's a big one because they want an engaged student body. They don't want, you know, all the same people and the same things. They want a diversity in that. Strong counselor and teacher letters of recommendation. Special talents such as, you know, an artistic talent, an athletic talent, service, cultural diversity, intellectual curiosity, which they can exhibit through their academic and extracurricular pursuits. They are looking for students who have character and values that contribute to the community of the campus, and a demonstrated interest and enthusiasm in attending. And not every college considers that, but certainly if a college is emailing your students, sending them information, and your student never opens the email, they kind of notice that. Whereas if there's a college they're really interested in that keeps communicating with them and they are responding and looking at the website, they'll notice things like that. Any questions about those? Okay.
Can I ask a quick question about the grades that you mentioned?
Mm-hmm.
So when they are looking at the transcripts, are they getting, and this maybe is more for Ms. Ponte, but are they getting the grades that is the cumulative year average? Are they seeing quarter by quarter? Is it the 95%, the 85%? Is it A? What is it that goes on the transcripts that the college sees?
So they'll upload their transcripts, but I'll let Ms. Ponte kind of address that one.
Yeah, I was going to say, I got your back, Ms. Kidwell. I got this one.
Yeah.
So when we send the transcript themselves, and if you guys ask your students, they were all given transcripts over the past month. They're on green paper when we met with students. But basically that lists the overall cumulative GPA and overall final grades for classes. So there's no quarter grades. Now, however, GPA is recalculated every quarter, every time a student gets a report card. So it's kind of a weird thing. But really when a student is applying, they're only seeing those final end of the year grades. The only difference would be is if they apply after the first quarter in their senior year, we also include whatever the current report card is at that point in time. So for the most part, it's just overall grades.
All right, we'll just continue on. Thank you, Ms. Ponte. And this is just kind of a general college planning for your juniors. Of course, we're kind of past fall and into winter, approaching spring, but certainly they always want to be getting the best grades that they can get. They should be exploring their interests and the colleges and careers they're interested in, visiting colleges, doing their standardized tests. There is a way, if you are interested in doing an estimate of financial need, you can use the studentaid.gov aid estimator, and we'll kind of give you a general idea of federal aid that your student might be eligible for. And I have the link there. But you could also just search for studentaid.gov aid estimator. They certainly can begin the scholarship right now. And again, I really do encourage parents to kind of be the ones that are helping them filter through which ones to apply to. The more specific they can be aligned with the scholarship, the more competitive they're going to be. So like if there's one for a tuba player who, I don't know, wants to major in engineering or something, you know, and that's your student, then they're probably going to align pretty good. And there might not be a lot of other people that do, so they'll be a little more competitive for that. So they kind of should already have a list of colleges that they are starting to narrow down to see which ones they want to apply to. And then attending college information sessions we talked about, and financial aid workshops as well. Now I want to mention this because it's the last one that we're having. This evening at Huntington High School at 6 o'clock, we are having our last financial aid workshop of the season. It gives general financial aid information as well as some kind of specific information for those who are seniors right now. There's a lot of changes with financial aid this year, so some of it hopefully won't apply to you next year, but you can get really a lot of good information from the financial aid workshop if you're interested in attending tonight. And then if you have a student who's interested in any military academies or ROTC scholarships, spring, now is the time for them to start working on those applications because they are more involved. They do require more than a typical four-year college application because they're going to have to also do a physical and like an eye test and a hearing test and things like that. So the sooner you can get that ball rolling, the better. As far as financial aid, it's important to know that the FAFSA opens hopefully on October 1st next year. This year it was delayed, but it hopefully will be back to normal next year. It is a two-step process. The first step in the process is for the parents and the student to create an FSA ID, which you can do at any time. You could do that now if you so chose. And if you're a person that's good about like knowing where that login information is in the fall, then I recommend that you do it sooner than later. However, you've got plenty of time between now and fall. If you want to wait maybe until summer and do it, and just make sure you keep that information in a safe place that you remember where it is. This summer, if your student is interested in playing NCAA sports at a Division I or Division II school, then they should register with the NCAA. Also for summer, the activities they do in summer are kind of things that they might write about in their essays and include on their resumes. So they should be kind of choosing interesting things to do this summer, either working a job, doing an internship, a job shadow, participating in a camp or a community service activity, as well as visiting colleges, creating their student resume, and researching scholarships. So that's a lot, but it's going to the more they can do now, the easier and less busy it will be in the fall. Any questions about any of these? Okay. I just wanted to highlight that Big Future website I talked about earlier. You can see these are all the steps that your students should be doing right now in order to prepare for applying to colleges next year. If they go into their Big Future account, which is their college board account, and start doing some of these things, looking at careers, building their college list, starting a scholarship list, then every month that they're working on those, they can be entered into these scholarship drawings. Every month they give away a $500 scholarship and a $40,000 scholarship. So these are things your student needs to do anyway. And that's why I like to highlight this one, because as long as they're doing these things, why not get entered into that drawing? And then you can just go to the website. It looks like this, and you can get more information there, as well as the rules for the scholarship. And again, a little bit more. These are some things that your excuse me, your student should be doing this summer. Definitely creating that Common App profile. It takes a while. They have to enter in all their courses, they enter in their activities. So they can create that profile at any time. And then the actual college applications on the Common App open up on August 1st. Most of the time, students in their junior English class write a Common App personal essay. So that usually is taken care of before the summer arrives. Your student is going to need to collect letters of recommendation. So I recommend that before the school year ends, they identify 1 or 2, some colleges require 3, but hardly any, at least 1, possibly 2 teachers who will write a letter of recommendation for them. Because everybody's going to be asking for letters, and you don't want to overwhelm your teachers. So the earlier you can ask if they would consider doing that, the better. We talked about most of these already. Keeping a summer journal is a good idea for those activities they participate in over the summer, and then that can maybe spark some good essay topics when they're writing their essay. And then that kind of wraps it up. This is my contact information, and you can see at Calvert High School, I have that sign up link there, and your student can just click on that and sign up for an appointment either during their lunch period or CAV time on Wednesday morning or Tuesday afternoon during their lunch period. They could also, if all else fails, you forget this information, you lose it, they can talk to anybody in the guidance office and they can get a message to me, and I will reach out and assist your student. So any other questions or concerns about anything we covered today?
And we will also too, after today's presentation, once I get everything on YouTube, I'll send out an email to you later on today, and I'll include Michelle's email address and that appointment link if you want to share that with students as well.
All right, well, thank you for letting me present today. I appreciate the opportunity, and I hope it was helpful.
Michelle, we appreciate you, so thank you for coming this morning.
Absolutely.
And then just to kind of give you all a preview of our next and our final junior breakfast, it will be on Thursday, March 14th. And we will have Christian Zimmerman, who will be coming from, he works in the financial aid office at CSM, and he's going to give us a whole overview of the financial aid process. And even though he works at CSM, the process is the same no matter where your student goes to college. So he will give us a wealth of information about the financial aid office and what you can expect. So if you would like to come to that, I'm going to drop that link in the chat, and I'll email that out to you later on today too. But if you'd like to sign up to attend that, we would absolutely love to have you. So again, everyone, thank you for giving up your morning and spending some time with us. Did I hear a question? Okay, thought I heard somebody there. But thank you guys for spending your morning with us, and we hope you got great information. Have a great day, everyone. Thanks, Michelle.
Yep, you're welcome. Have a good day.
You too. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.